Hello everybody and welcome to today's stream. I'm of course Elliot Bond. I'm the Schools and Colleges Liaison Officer for the British Esports Association, and today we've got our, well, I say first, it's actually our second, but it's our first one of this month, which is of course Game Advisor Takeover Month. And today we've got a really great episode for you, which is StarCraft II, one of my all-time favourite games, and an absolute classic for an esports genre, series. It's definitely been a staple over the last few years for providing quality content, some of the most amazing and exciting moments, and some seriously good skill versus, human versus human skill being showcased in the games. So today I've got a few announcements real quickly. If you didn't see last week, our merch was released. If you hit the exclamation mark merch, you'll get a link to the Raven page with all of our new stuff on there. Unfortunately, I'm still waiting for mine in the post, otherwise I would be repping it today, but I'm in my own clothes. But yeah, no, do go check that out, and please do buy whatever you like. Thanks very much everybody for joining in the chat. Mars Bar, hello, welcome to the stream. Akrasikov, sorry if I butcher your names, but yeah, welcome anyway. I hope you enjoy the stream today. So I've got two great guests today, both representing UK StarCraft in a big way, doing everything they can to keep the scene alive and thriving here in the UK. So please welcome in Ryan and James. Thank you very much for joining me, guys.
Hello. Thank you.
How are you both?
I'm wonderful. I've just come off adminning, casting, and playing in Epic LAN. So that was a really fun weekend. Shame we couldn't be there in person. This time it was Epic WAN. It was online.
Yeah.
But the community spirit was still alive.
Cool. So do you want to just tell us a little bit about yourselves, just to introduce yourself? So if we start with you, Ryan, that'd be great.
Yep. I'm Wok, the StarCraft II advisor for the British Esports Association, but mainly I'm known for the co-lead of the UK StarCraft II community group, known as UK SE2, and I am also the StarCraft II manager for Team Ebunks.
Awesome, thank you very much. And James, I'm going to call you Voltacus and Wok, I think, throughout the rest of the stream. So Voltacus, tell us who you are and what you do.
I'm Voltacus. I've been doing adminning, casting for probably around 5 years now. I usually did it around in the amateur scene, and usually the NA scene, they're a bit bigger back in those days, but I've now since localized on the UK scene, focusing a lot on UK SE2 with Wok here that we set up about a year ago, just over, I think, maybe a year and a half. I'm not 100% sure. Wok will have to tell me. He's the one with all the numbers. But since then, I've been doing, a load of online tournaments with UKSC2. I've been doing adminning and casting for Epic LAN. That's been really fun. That's been a really good 5 years of work in StarCraft.
That's amazing. Yes, that's brilliant. I love to hear it. The commitment and the passion from the guys in the scene is always, it blows me away, to be honest. To be committed to something for such a long time. That's fantastic to hear. So, obviously, you guys work together quite a lot, and what the work you do is really important. So why don't you just enlighten the stream as to what you guys do together in the UK StarCraft II scene that you've built?
We'll start with Volt first, since I'll be able to contextualize from my beginning as well.
Oh, me, yeah. I thought it said you, sorry.
Right.
Yeah, so, Wok and I, we first met probably at, would it be my first LAN? It must have been back in Epic 22. So we're talking like 2017 thing. Were you there, Wok?
22.
Maybe everyone was new to me. So
first one I met was when I was adminning one Epic LAN. So that would have been around 2017, 2018.
So we would have met around that time, and we weren't like instantly friends and everything. We were both part of the same sort of community, and I was still away from the UK scene at the time. But eventually, we were like, there's not really much of a UK scene outside of Epic LAN, so we were both talking. We were both around with Fog, and we were both talking about the UK scene, and if you wanted to do a project together. And at first, it was just Twitter. I know, Wok, at the time you had the Discord, but we never really thought until a little bit later on of sticking those two together, I don't think. I'm not sure. You were the one with all the power there, the knowledge.
Yeah.
I was a relative newcomer at the time, but we stuck those together, and it just went onwards and upwards from there.
It's fantastic. Did you have more to add to that, Wok?
Yeah, so Voltacus usually does the tournaments right now for UKSC2. He does mostly running all of that, especially helped admin with Epic 30 that wrapped up this week as well. For me, I dipped my toes into UK StarCraft in 2015, and from that point, the community was kind of like segmented. It kind of seemed to have staled out in a way. There were still some efforts to help the UK StarCraft scene, but there weren't things being like consistently promoted.
Yeah.
So around 2016 is when I started making like Reddit posts. That's like the first thing I started to do about Epic Lands coming up.
Yeah.
And then a year later is when an international student made a UK StarCraft Discord, and we've had Skype chats before that. And you can imagine having about 30 people in like those Skype chats that would constantly be revived. Like a text chat with 30 people, you can imagine how chaotic that can be.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Let's all fondly remember the Skype days just while we're here, you know.
yeah. There's some.
Yeah, I remember from those times that there was like you'd always have this meme of UK scene revival, and then every time they make a new one, it'd be UK revival number 12, number 32, and it'd be the numbers increasingly get bigger and bigger. And it wasn't until Wok and I stepped in that there was any real cohesive efforts.
Yeah.
So essentially, then like, you felt that there was a gap in the scene, and you guys were going to be the ones to fill it, and you know, prop up the scene and the society in a way.
Yeah, it's definitely worked so far because Wok and I sort of stick to our own strengths. Wok is a very good communicator. He's a very good manager for ePunks. He's very good at talking and putting out these Reddit posts, these tweets that me as like an admin, I just want everything to be organized. So my tweets are very sterile. There's no emojis, and then Wok has since taught me in the past year or so how to be proper Zoomer with all the emojis, the flame emojis, the trophies, and it's like there's a whole new world I never would have considered if we would have done it individually.
You're younger than me.
I am younger than you, but I am.
I'm not going to ask you to reveal your ages, don't worry. So thank you very much for everybody in the chat who's been joining and following as well. That's really appreciated. You guys, if you want to ask any questions, please do so. Whack them in the chat. I'll happily ask the guys as we go through the session today. But just as we go along, I'll tell you a little bit about what we've got planned. We're going to just do a short, 20-30 minutes more of question time, just chatting about the UK scene. And then we're going to go into a show match as well, where we'll be playing a 1v1 between Wok and Voltacus as well, and I'll be observing that for you guys, where we'll be hopefully asking a few more fun questions. But in the meantime, I'd quite like to just go back to Epic LAN, Epic WAN, as it's coined, because obviously it's just finished. When was the last day? Yesterday. So I'm assuming you guys were both involved all throughout the whole weekend. You know, I checked in a little bit on Saturday night, I think it was. It looked really good, but I didn't get to actually watch any of the StarCraft, unfortunately. So perhaps you could fill us in and tell us a bit about what happened.
Yeah, sure. What would you like to go?
Okay, sure. So unfortunately, due to COVID, the Epic team had to sort of find out what to do, and they've came up with just an online format for Epic 30. They tried to sort of emulate the LANs, but just with an online format instead. So that includes the esports, which StarCraft II being one of them. And yeah, it was really good, even though it was still a online event instead of a LAN. There were some changes as we've opened up they always opened up to people coming in anyways outside of the UK, but then with an online format they decided that to open up to European players as well.
Yeah, amazing.
There's a bit of controversy, but I won't really touch on it.
Yeah, best not. There was a lot of messages going around about 3 a.m. last night. When was it? Yeah, the final one was 2:30 in the morning, having a discussion with Gunster, the esports lead. Everyone stayed up, and there was a little bit of drama, but it was no real issue. It was a vocal minority, really. But it was I think the silent majority, well, they were somewhat silent. I keep trying to rally them, so does Wok, to speak a bit louder. But we were all rallying behind the event, getting UK on there, UKC2, on there.
Yeah.
And ever since sort of we've stepped in and tried to push the UK scene onto Epic LAN more than it used to be, because it used to be the UK scene was centered around Epic LAN, because there used to be iSeries that used to do StarCraft II events, and they dropped us around 2013, 2012.
It was like 2015. They ran like one legacy double tournament.
Yeah, it was some way into it, especially when StarCraft completely dropped off. I'm sure we could come back onto that, what happened to StarCraft.
Yeah.
So it was the predominant esports back in the day, but it did drop off in the middle, and now we've seen a resurgence. But Epic Land, throughout all of that, has kept supporting StarCraft ever since Epic 11. They've been supporting StarCraft, and it's pretty much been the home of UK StarCraft years before we ever stepped in with UK SE2. So like we were all there to support Epic Land, and we got some record numbers up. And I think Walker's been making a load of diagrams and everything showing how the progression has gone, and it's really been amazing.
I'll bring that up. Actually, I have a copy of that. Hold on. There we go. So you should be able to see there. If you carry on talking, they can hear you guys. So just if you look.
Absolutely. So you can see a peak around 2019. It's like this is when we started the company. It was about May 2019. After that initial February LAN, it was an incredible amount of support we had. Loads and loads of people turn up, and before then we had maybe in the 20s. It was a lot of rivalries as well. There was a lot of team rivalry. Before then, but that was like the old days where there's loads of teams and everything. And since 2019, it's all been one big community, and it's really cohesive and awesome. And it's really given us the passion to keep on with this project and push those numbers higher and higher. As we saw the 41 and 40 for this event, it should have been 42. It should have been a record one, but of course, when you're online, there is less available, so you don't set those days aside to go to LAN. It would have been amazing, yeah.
I still think 40 is a really fantastic number. Like don't knock it at all.
Oh yeah. I guess it's because we're aiming always higher and higher, and we try and keep as much support for Epic LAN as possible. It's a very beneficial for both of us. They get more tickets, and we grow as a community. We get a better experience out of every single one of these LANs and online events, and it's incredible. And they've really been feeling the love and support from us, and they want to do more StarCraft stuff. And I'm really looking forward to the future of Epic LAN because of that.
Yeah, me too. I'm looking forward to the day when that number on the left-hand side goes all the way up to 100.
Yeah.
All right. Cool. If it wasn't for life and things getting in the way, I'd definitely compete as well. I managed to see that it was a Brit in the last 4, which is pretty cool. I don't know actually who won in the end, but
Marsman, the Dutch Protoss from Archangel.
Amazing. Okay, so what was the last few games like? Were they tense? Were they up? Was there many Zergs? What's the deal? Because I'm a Zerg main, obviously. So.
Oh, okay, of course. So the final composition was 2 Terrans, 2 Protosses.
Oh.
So we had the number 1 seed Razorblader from the UK. He's on Red Dragons, and he's the long time runner up at pretty much he's got like 7 or 8 runner second place awards. Risky, of course, didn't compete. He didn't agree with the online tournament and parts of it, but we won't get into that. But Razorblade always comes second to him, and every time that Risky doesn't turn up, he would win. He's won his first goals. Was it last year when Risky was in Australia or New Zealand? Playing overseas. That gave Razorblade a chance. So he was really vying for his second win there against the 3 others. So we had 2 ePunks players, Lillikinen and Pappy Joe. Pappy Joe being the 4th seed. He's a Protoss player, particularly funky and weird. What could probably talk more about him at length, as well as Lillikinen, a very funky mech Terran. And then finally we had Marsman, the Dutch Protoss we mentioned earlier. But and it was very intense. There was some very, very long series, especially out of Lillikinen. As you probably know, that mech goes on for a long time. We had some 2-hour series, best of 5s, and it was very fun to watch. It went very epic, as you might say, with late game units going on, and then you hit the other one, the other series where Razorblader, he was sweeping through the playoffs before he hit Marsman in the winners finals. 3-0'd every series he played, lost 1 map in the group stage. So before that, he dropped 1 map in the entire tournament, and he played Marsman. And unfortunately, it just wasn't his day. This was the final day, and something happened, and probably didn't get enough sleep. Too excited about winning, and unfortunately dropped 3-1. There were some close games, but he wasn't performing at the normal Razorblade level, which is normally super solid. That is Razorblade style. It's just solid throughout. Solid macro. Unfortunately, couldn't quite pull it out there. Marsman beat him, went to the grand finals, and in the lower stage, Pappy Joe took down Lurkin in a super close series. That went 3-2. And then there was another series between Pappy and Razorblader in the lower finals. Pappy won that. Razorblade again not performing very well. And then the grand finals was Game 7. It went to Game 7 in the best of 7 series. And the back and forth on that final map was insane. It was DT's going to the main, he'd recall, just defend it, they'd be on equal workers, they'd have another harass, they'd end up on equal workers again. It was so back and forth, and it was just absolute nail biting. I'm glad I had we had like a 3-way cast between Razorblader's brother Zane, another very talented player casting, as well as Bollard, who was running the stream at the time as well. But they were biting their nails as well. It was an intense series, and I'm really glad we got that finals.
Awesome. I know what I'll be watching tonight then. Yeah, definitely need to catch up on that, guys, if you haven't seen it. I assume the VODs are out and available.
Yeah, they're up there as well as some highlight videos that Epiclan has very kindly put the work in to make. I think it's just for the group stage at the moment, but I think they might be doing some more. They're quite funny. They've got me, because I was running some of the later streams, and they were a lot more chill. Hopefully what we can put on here, but they had me doing jokes. It's like dabbing, and it was very fun, and a lot of the jokes on there are pretty bad. Yeah, I'm sorry, Walk. They are pretty awful.
That highlight video is very good. Yeah, I enjoyed it. Very done. Well done for the Epic team.
So then, essentially, then between yourselves with UKSC2 and Epiclan and Epicman, they're the two main kind of what's the word I'm looking for here? Pillars. Let's go with pillars that are supporting the scene. Do you think like the scene's going to grow bigger than that? Or do you think it's because it's been sort of shut down over the last few years and it's now only just seeing revival that this is coming back? Or do you think it's not going to grow and we're just going to end up stagnating kind of as we are at the moment?
I've talked a lot. Do you want to go, Walk?
Yeah, go. I'll do it. I still think there is still room for growth for us because of the UK StarCraft scene. I don't exactly. I wish I could know like how much UK viewership that like the big streams get, just so then we can gauge how big our community really is, or how big our scene can be. Because our Twitter currently has over 250 followers, and I know that our Discord has around 370 members. It was like 55 members back in 2017.
Oh wow!
We've obviously there's some like Europeans that are also in there as well,
yeah.
But it does give us some perspective on how big we are at this moment.
Yeah.
But I would like to try and gather numbers to see how big we are right now, in general.
I think the sky is the limit, to be honest. You'll see with like a lot of scenes, and like the Australian scene, the Australia and New Zealand, they have a much lower population than the UK does. Just the UK alone, UK, Ireland, which we're sort of partnered with in a sense. They have a much lower population, but they have a lot of lands going on. They have a very strong scene, and I don't see why we couldn't be 10 times as strong as them come a year, 2 years in the 2 years in the future.
Yeah, I think one of the biggest stopping and blocking points is basically finding that hero, that kind of sparks life in the scene, and I don't really feel like we've had somebody just constantly winning everything, or being that guy or that girl, who's that great kind of like it brings. We're a very patriotic country, Britain, and we like supporting people who are homegrown, and I don't feel that that's happened in this esport yet, and I think that's something that probably would lead to a huge revival of our StarCraft scene.
Yeah, it used to be a lot worse in the UK, and I can't say I'm unpatriotic when I've got that right next to me,
yeah.
but
I do love your backdrop. Yeah, it's fantastic.
Yeah, it's a bit clean, but we used to have mainly a guy called Benjamin Baker Dummuslin. He played a lot in Warcraft 3, and he played quite a bit in StarCraft 2.
He does a lot of casting now, doesn't he? He
does a lot of casting, absolutely, yeah. He's in his 30s now in he played a lot in the early days. He got some good success, but the team he was on didn't give him a massive amount of support and able to get him everywhere. But he was very good in the early days. But between maybe 2012 and 2018-19, we probably didn't really have anything early one. But now we've had like Risky come to light. He wasn't an amazing player, 3 years ago, but now is just dominating the UK scene. Even going overseas to Southeast Asia and with his dual citizenship, competing over there. And he just recently won the Southeast Asian finals.
That's cool. That's really cool.
Won a lot of money, got himself into I think it's a global finals at the end of this ESL Pro Tour series, which will be very, very good to see. So, but he's a bit notorious in a sense. He's got some drama behind him. He's a bit of he's not a particularly clean figure, I'd say. I don't want to say too much.
I don't think we should really. Yeah,
I don't want to drag him.
I don't think we should really go in deep into that. But yeah, Risky is definitely a one to watch for us.
He's a divisive.
He's been dominating our scene, our UK scene, for how many years? I mean, he's won 9 Epic Land titles. 9 Epic Land titles. He's taken some games off Koreans earlier this year as well, because he went to practice Korea twice, and South Korea, I should say, just in case anyone comes to go to North Korea for some reason.
So the thing is, like, when I'm watching, I haven't played StarCraft in a few years competitively, but I do watch it regularly. But I'm a retroactive watcher, so I'm not watching live streams and I'm not watching the up-to-date stuff necessarily. I've seen Risky play a few games, probably towards the end of last year. That was probably the last time. I haven't watched anything he's played this year. I tend to watch, on YouTube, reruns and things like that, or rebroadcasts of live streams. But I mean, it's not just players like that we're talking about here. Obviously, it's not about being the best player and winning everything and dominating in that scene. There's other fields that you can dominate in. Like we talked about the Muslim, who's now gone on to casting, and that's actually I feel like there's been a bit of the downtime. If you go back to that graph, it was nice and high when he was playing, and then it's kind of dipped, and then now he's back to kind of mainstream casting, and it's picking up.
I won't put it down to
obviously it's not down to him. It's just
he's never been the best flag bearer for the UK scene, and there are others like Wardy who's working more or less 12 hours a day, pretty much every day. He's even streaming right now.
He puts out so much content, that guy.
Absolutely, and there's also Grant as well, who does a lot of B-stream stuff. He normally slips by under the radar, but he works very hard as well. And I think there is that big resurgence and strength of these UK figures in StarCraft.
We're very well known, actually, not just in StarCraft, but in the general esports industry, like the English or the British, should I say? We're very well known for being great casters and great commentators and great hosts, and that's the fantastic thing. So like to have people who are putting X amount of hours a week, ridiculous effort in, like Wardy. I mean, he's looked at what everyone else is doing and gone, right, I'm going to do more than all of them. And now
pretty
he's
much,
and he's basically in the last 2-3 years has basically gone from zero to hero. For he's really smashed it out of the park. So yeah, big ups to Wardy and anybody else who's doing their part.
Sorry, there is one person that we've totally forgotten about. Total Biscuit.
Of course, yes. The late Biscuit, yes. He was like Barry for StarCraft, to be honest. He always
stunned me into silence there, because that's what a shame to forget.
Of course, yeah. I think his StarCraft achievements are always sidelined by what is more notable for, which is his games industry commentary, rather than his StarCraft commentary, which is always on the sidelines. From him, but he was always very passionate. He ran a team with his wife, Axiom, which was, I would say, is a very altruistic in its sense. It wasn't there to make money; it was there to support these players because of Total Biscuit and Jenna Bain's absolute passion for StarCraft, and that was really awesome, especially when they won the GSTL, the Global StarCraft Team League, back in 2015-16. This many years ago, and I think even since they've disbanded, they've become such a key like part of that sort of, I don't know, it's in that sort of mentality, it's in that sort of head of a lot of those Korean players who still, they'll go to events and they will wear their Axiom jersey, even though the team has been disbanded for 5 years because of how much effort that Total Biscuit and Jenna Bain put into the team.
It's a homage, isn't it? You know, it's a sign and a show of respect. And you know, since we're talking about him, you know, I'd also like to shout out Jeff Robinson as well, of course, in Control, which was a really sad passing for me because he was, to be honest with you, quite honestly, my favourite caster. You know, he was deadpan, he was funny, he was, you know, he was just great, and I really enjoyed his content. So, big shame to lose these talents. I mean, we can only do what we can do, can't we? Just pick ourselves up, dust off, and move on. But yeah, let's not forget.
Onward and upwards.
Yeah, onward and upwards indeed. So, moving on then. So, what do you guys think? You know, since you've been in the scene now for a while, what do you think we can do to kind of help improve the market and improve the scene for StarCraft here in the UK? Like, what's it looking like over the next year or two?
I think first thing is once like COVID is kind of over, hopefully, doing a lot more meetups and barcrafts. Ever since UKSC2 was a thing, we've only done 2 the past 2 years, and those were for BlizzCons in Meltdown London. Those are great. We had a big turnout, probably around like 30-ish people in Meltdown London. And it's such a small bar, so you can imagine how cramped it was in there.
Yeah. That was a really cool event. Like, they went to a different bar, didn't they, afterwards, a 24-hour one, because it got that late into night, because it was filmed in California, the BlizzCon finals was, and it went till 6 in the morning, and they were still there, filled with passion.
Yeah, they schedule it all in one day, so it was just an absolute nightmare for us with an 8-hour difference, right?
Yeah. So when it went to 10 o'clock at night, it was 6 a.m. in the morning, and they're still there.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
It was great to bring those barcrafts back as well, because for I don't know, I want to say around 3 years there was no UK barcrafts at all, so it was great for us to bring those things back.
So we're thinking then more tournaments, more live events, more just hanging out at, you know, barcrafts and other kind of associated venues. That's the way forward, I think, just to keep it going.
I think that there are the StarCraft players out there in the UK. It's just they aren't exposed to the UK scene. It's a lot of people go, "Oh, I've been playing for 5-6 years," because that's what StarCraft players do. They have been playing for a long time. They're a more mature audience, and they'll go, "Oh, but I never realized that Epiclam was a thing. I never realized that iSeries, now that they're bringing back StarCraft, was a thing. I never realized UKS2 was a thing." And then once they find it, they're really happy and they share it with their friends, that sort of thing. It's but it's just about exposing it more, and then, you know, once more people know about it, we can get more traction. It's just that, you know, it's that exponential, that feedback loop.
So if somebody, say I was one of those kids then, or one of those people, you know, I'm playing StarCraft, I'm on my own, I'm kind of oblivious to the scene. How can I get involved? You know, how can I enter a tournament? You tell me.
The first place you can go is the UKSG Twitter. From there, that's pretty much the hub of anything that happens in the UK specifically. You know, if you're looking for more international events, of course, there's Liquipedia, an insane just repository of every single bit of StarCraft information out there, every tournament, every upcoming tournament. Sorry, so we'll walk behind you, and that was quite funny.
Behind me.
But yeah, but yeah, that's a whole repository that I work quite a lot with, just with the entire StarCraft II information, everything there. But if you really want to get involved in the UK scene, get yourself an Epic LAN ticket. It's such a communal event. Like, you'll think of esports events, and you might think, oh, it's just a load of teams sat down playing against each other. They're not really interactive with everyone. StarCraft is very different. It's a very individual one. So when we go, we are all in that same sort of struggle. So every time you play a game, you'll get up, you'll shake each other's hand, you get to know them. So if you're a bit shy, but you've played them in the group stages, you'll shake their hands, you'll get to know them. They'll introduce you to someone else, and it's a very social event like that. And just going to one Epic LAN will just make you friends for a lifetime.
I think Ryan and I were at an Epic LAN last year, was it? I think at some point, and we stood next to each other for ages. Didn't realise that we were standing next to each other.
When you walk
Yeah, go on.
Sorry, yeah. It was, yeah, we were standing behind my mate FaZe, who was watching a stream for like WCS, and you were standing next to me, and you walked away. I was like, I recognize that guy. Oh wait, it's Elliot from British Esports. Like, oh my days. I'm also sad as well because I didn't get to meet Dom as well. Dom Sacco, absolute legend from the UK esports scene as well. Oh man, yeah. Next time though, we'll meet again.
Next time for sure. You know, once we're out of this COVID nightmare, we'll definitely be attending the next LAN. That's for sure. It is great event. You know, really enjoyed our time there, and you know, it's not just about StarCraft. There's all sorts going on. It's great food, great company, great games as well. You know, and of course you bring your own PC, so it's all your gear. Cool. So, I mean, is there anything else you guys wanted to just talk about before we get into the show match, or are you ready to get started? I guess you're all a bit pumped.
I guess I'll quickly plug in the UK SC2 Discord.
Yeah.
Just go on the UK SC2 Twitter, so at UK SC2. And in the bio is where you can find the Discord invite with 370 members in there. So go join us. That's a good stepping stone to dipping your toes in the UK StarCraft scene. Excellent.
Thank you very much. Anything from you, Voltacus?
No, nothing at all. I was just exact same as what Fox said.
Okay, cool. Well, it's time then for us to... if you can't post it, just post it to me in Discord and I'll link it because you need mod privileges to post links.
Oh,
sorry. Yeah, no worries. Post it to me and I'll post it on.
Shadow deletes it, didn't even tell me.
Right, so I don't know what races do you guys play?
I play Terran.
So it's T versus
Z. Sorry, Z. I would say Zerg. Yeah.
Z.
It's funny how we would call it ZVT for, you know.
Yeah, the American pronunciation. Yeah.
It's like Supply Depot and Depot.
Have you always played those races, or do you change it up a bit?
I played Brood War and I played Zerg back then, but since StarCraft 2 I've been playing Terran. Okay. I'm not going to tell you why I play Terran in StarCraft 2, but that is a weird...
Right.
Betrayed us.
Yeah. Well, I'm really excited to witness you guys duke it out. I think everybody in the chat's ready, so let's fire it up and get started.
Let's go.
Yeah, sounds good.
Good luck, Walt.
Good luck. It's very sportsmanship. It's like you always say good luck, have fun to your opponents. You always say GG. That's if it is a good game. So.
Danny with the tier 1 sub. Thank you very much. 4-month streak. Congratulations.
Nice.
Go. We've only been live for about 4 months, to be honest. So he's been here since the very beginning. Bless him.
Oh wow.
Yeah. We did a lot of stuff last year, but it wasn't. Here we go. Let's get straight into the game. Yeah, we did a lot of stuff last year, but it wasn't actually kind of for any purpose or any reason. We just kind of did it because we maybe had an interview or something going on, or there was some action happening that we wanted to be a part of.
Yeah.
So anyway, I'm not going to cast this, but introducing our players, we have Voltacus.
Playing for Red Dragons.
Yeah.
The UK team.
So I'm really sorry if my observing skills are awful. I have never ever done an observation before, so I will just go back to being what I'm good at, which is asking questions.
Yeah, that sounds good.
So how come you've been switching from Zerg to Terran? I know you said you didn't want to tell us, but you're obliged to ask.
Right. So I played Zerg back in the day. That mainly comes from I collected a Warhammer as a kid, Warhammer 40k, and I collected Tyranids. So it's like, Zerg are just like Tyranids, and they pretty much are. If you have a look at how like the race of the design, it's pretty much a carbon copy of Warhammer. And then with the release of StarCraft 2, I was still a kid then. It was about 2010. And I was only, 12 at the time? So I didn't have the money to buy a copy because at the time StarCraft was about 30 quid for a copy. And now it's completely free now, which is really, really cool. But back then you'd have like a starter edition. And because it was Wings of Liberty, you could only play as Terran. So I just stuck with Terran after playing, the customs and the little stuff you could do in the starter edition.
Okay. Do you guys buy any of the war chest stuff, and do you buy into all of the fancy looking skins and stuff?
Sometimes the skins look nice. I'll tend to do them, but I mean a lot of them are a bit much for me nowadays. I prefer the default ones. Now I focus a little bit more on just what's going on in the game. I'm trying to like make everything a bit more standard.
All right. So I mean, just a few other questions for you guys. Either of you can answer at this point. Do you have like a favorite villain or a favorite hero from the StarCraft storyline? You know, obviously Reyna's massive, but I mean, I've been a Kerrigan fanboy for my entire life, really.
The thing is, with the StarCraft story, I wasn't very invested in it, and it's a bit cheesy to me.
Oh, really?
It is, isn't it? It's
Yeah.
Space operas.
Yeah. It's not as, I find the story and the lore not as cool as 40k itself.
I think you can't compare it to 40k though. Really,
Yeah.
40k is such a vast universe that it's just.
That's true.
Yeah. So
comparison.
I mean, this is basically space pirates, isn't it? Versus aliens, which is NIDS versus space
it
marines.
is. It is pretty much as cheesy as that. Yeah, but.
And they are the same as well. Like if you look at, I mean, I know we're not talking about NIDS here, but you know the way that the points work in 40k, you know they were so cheap to build. You know, it's very representative of the way that Zerg works.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like Zerg is definitely a strength in numbers sort of race, and you'll probably see that from Wox play. You'll make a lot of Zerglings, a lot of Banelings, and just power on through with those units. Whereas I'll be using a lot more technical attacks. It's sort of middle ground between strong units and mass units. I'll be trying to like attack in multiple directions, use the strength I have with the technical units I might own.
Yeah. So do you guys play against each other very much, or?
Usually on hands, we're a little far apart in level, unfortunately. And Wok is very, very busy a lot of the time with his work with e-punks, which he does very, very well.
Yeah. So do you find then Wok that you don't get as much time to play as you'd like, or?
Yeah, definitely. Especially trying to balance actual job and then e-punks and UKC2. It's kind of hard to find a time, and when you do, you're a little bit tired as well. So you don't really have that mental energy to exactly play at your best or really learn why you lose some games in StarCraft. But you know, it is what it is. You just gotta make time with what you have spare. So usually when it comes to LANs is when I will be able to take time off work to be able to prep for LANs or anything that comes to organising or just helping with my team as well.
Yeah, I always hear really good feedback from like Spacey Maisie, one of the Dutch players, players he has on his team.
This action's heating up a little bit here.
It's getting a bit intense. I guess we haven't given context. Like we have played against each other last LAN, Epic 29. Sorry, I mean the one before it, which Voltacus beat me 1-3. So I've got to prove myself that I'm still capable of beating him.
Yeah. Oh, that was
That's the reaction I'm hoping for.
filth.
Yeah, it's a shame you can't really commentate this now
No,
because you're giving away a lot of information.
Yeah, I kind of want to be honest. Yes, it's really disappointing that I can't. Yeah,
Right.
but it's looking like a good game. You know, you're both doing pretty well so far. So,
That's what I'm hoping to hear. Yeah.
yeah, I'm enjoying watching from my bird's eye perspective. So have you guys ever had any kind of stage combat? You know, have you ever gone up against each other in a tournament or online or anything?
Yeah, that was when that Showmatch we played.
Oh, so that was actually an official. Okay.
Yeah, I was at Epic 29, so it was streamed and everything.
So were you annoyed at a 3-1?
Yeah, obviously I wanted them to play better.
I've got someone in the chat earlier. I'll have to just quickly check after this action. what's going on here.
God, this is madness right now. Oh my god. That was big damage from Volt.
Yep.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
Right, well, that's...
You don't worry, you can ask questions during all this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Make sure that Volt.
I was just going to say there was somebody in the chat earlier who said today is the day that what avenges me from Epic WAN. This is from Mars Bar, whoever that was. I'm not sure. Maybe a friend of yours.
Mars Bar is a very good British Zerg. It's around about mid-diamond level, and he's very, very tricky. He's the bane of Protoss. We have a guy called Molten, who's another volunteer with UKSC2, and constantly he's just scared of this man, Mars Bar, because of the sort of stuff he pulls off. Zerg has a lot of very strange builds they can pull off, and
I've got a message in the chat here from Savage RTS. We're far apart in level. What? Destroy this guy. What boy? Assuming this is some more of your team coming in to support you guys.
The manager, or that's one of the managers of Red Dragons.
Yeah, Red Dragons are a long-established UK team. I think around 2014 is when they came about. Magico is the manager, and then Savage is one of the admins for the team. And they've always had like quite strong turnouts at Epic WAN, so they've been helping out with sort of the sign-up numbers. And then alongside other community groups like TAW is when Mars Bar's from. He usually helps out trying to gather some UK players in that one as well. And then there's TSI, which was Wardy's original team, but then since Wardy was sort of busy with casting, that he did try to make a small team with Team Wardy TV in the early days. Sorry, this drop is very annoying.
Yeah, it's alright.
I mean, attacking on 3 fronts.
The whole point is to kind of distract you guys while you're
I
trying.
feel bad that you took the walk during all of this.
Let's see, where was I? Oh yeah, so Wardy had Team Wardy TV with a lot of the UK boys. It's more so now that they are sort of a social circle, little community group. Those guys are always a bunch of party boys at LAN. That's what I like to call them. They're always having a good time.
Party boys.
Yeah. The thing is that they can party, and also a lot of them can also still win a lot of the matches at LAN. A lot of those guys are good. So the Clara Heiser, which is
he actually did a really good performance this WAN, excuse me.
Yeah.
He took down your boy. Was it Rom or was it Gyarados?
It was Rom.
Rom, he played really well there.
Yeah, it was well played by Clad.
That was actually a very surprised performance. With the UK scene, you get a lot of people, because it hasn't been that active, you get a lot of people that are they're a bit inactive outside of Epic LAN, so they'll pretty much retire until the next LAN. And then they'll fire themselves back up, they'll play a load of games before LAN, and then they'll just go mental.
Oh, I wish I could talk about what's going on in this game.
I bet you do.
Oh, it's frustrating. But, I mean, viewers can see, so... I guess, as long as they're seeing what I'm seeing.
I know what's coming. It doesn't look good.
Okay,
Really doesn't, does it?
I got a question in the chat, and I'm going to go for you, Voltacus. Would you rather fight 1 Thor-sized Baneling or 100 Baneling-sized Thors?
1 Thor-sized Baneling. I mean, once it blows up, it's gone into it, really. Thors are just scary. A lot of little ones, oh my god, that's so much damage. It's just, that's what it feels like.
GG. Sorry, Tycho. Well played.
Yes! I mean, when you play StarCraft, every inch of like your emotion is going into that, because it's just you. It's like playing a game of like Dota or League with just you. You're doing absolutely every action. Every action that was in that game where I was all over the place was me performing every one of those actions. If those failed, that's because of me. At the same time, if WOC doesn't deal with those aggressions very well. That's on him. It's those sort of interactions. It's almost like a poker game, but you're playing boxing at the same time.
Yeah.
That was a tough game, man. I was like, as soon as I saw that battle cruiser on the production tab, I was like, okay, Wok's got about 3 queens. This is going to be a real difficult place to come back from. Big damage early on there, Voltacus. Nice play.
Thank you very much.
My lobbies appear to have frozen, so I think I need a new invite for the next game. But ready to go. Yep. Excellent, thank you. Yeah, no, that was really. I mean, it could have gone either way. There was a moment where you sent out about 40 SCVs to unprotected mineral patches, and you had a whole load of Zerglings literally right next to them, and they were like one screen away from each other. Oh, so all you had to do was just move a tiny bit more, and you've taken half his economy. Okay, here we go then. On to map 2. This is Pillars of Gold. It is 1-0 to our Terran.
That was the first time I've properly used that build as well. And when I saw you take that very early 3rd hatchery, I was very, very happy. But because if you were stuck on 2 base, I'd be very much questioning, because I didn't build a Reaper, so I got a lot less information. So it's almost like if we are playing poker yet again, we'll use that analogy. It's like if you go to that very early 3rd hatchery, I'm looking over to see what sort of cards he has, and I'm removing sort of possibilities that might have. It's definitely not a king in his hand, and it's a king on the table, so I'm quite happy at that point. I'm not going to be beaten if I go for the build I was going to go for, which was a very early attack. And that's the sort of things you got to think about in StarCraft. It's a lot more combinations of everything.
Yeah,
constantly.
It's an absolutely mind-boggling game. There's just literally you could replay the exact same matchup. There's only 5 matchups or whatever there is. PvZ, PvT, PvP, ZVP, ZVT. 6? Yeah, 6. Yeah, of course, because but even if you picked just one of those, you could still play this game a million times and have most completely unique outcomes. But what's amazing to me lately is, have you seen, I mean, I'm not sure if either of you have been following it, I potentially expect you have been, but the developments with the AI.
Yes, with DeepMind.
Yes, DeepMind, and I know there's been a few people who have been getting really involved in it, like TLO, for instance. He's been sort of pioneering the lead from a StarCraft point of view. But, I can't remember who it was they took on. I think it was Liquid's Mana at the end of last year, and the AI destroyed him. I think it was 2-0. But of course, they can only play Protoss.
Of course, that's the only reason why he beat him, because he was playing Protoss.
Yeah, agreed. No.
No, I mean, like the AI can only play Protoss. Like, it hasn't learned. Yeah.
I think it was making a joke there.
I think the most interesting thing from the AI was that it did things that no one would ever consider doing. So if you have a look at any of the bases that we have, it says the amount of workers out of 16. And what the AI would do is completely oversaturate every game, because the 16 is the highest possible efficient mining, but it's not the highest possible income you'll get from each base. So they'll spend as long as possible oversaturated on each base.
Yes, I think they went up to, what was it, 22 or something, wasn't it, like that?
Yeah, something like that. And that was just a very subtle change that people would never think of. And then it was, of course, it would abuse its ability to micro very, very well. Because, of course, it's a computer. It will not make a mistake. It might have less actions, but it will not make a mistake.
Yeah, the blink stalking was just quite sensational.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. I think they throttled the amount of actions it can perform, but not its accuracy. You wouldn't say every 5th action you do, inaccurately. It doesn't have that sort of ability.
Does it kind of scare you that it's able to learn so quickly and just become so dominant in such a short amount of time, only by playing itself over and over and over again?
It does, but the thing is that they've kind of stopped doing the project, haven't they? They've finished quite successful because they're able to beat the top 50 GMs around that level. So they didn't exactly reach the ultimate goal of trying to fight Serral.
They did lose the game of BlizzCon, but that was
would love to see
that was it. But It wasn't like perfect conditions.
Trade TV, there are replays of it. Of
It was on the ladder, wasn't it?
No, it was at
Oh wait, sorry. Yeah, BlizzCon one, yeah. I mean, there's a bit of a caveat with that. Was that?
Yeah,
that,
there is a
Sarah
lot of caveats with that one.
Like Sarah wasn't playing on his setup, so it was kind of wasn't exactly perfect conditions for Sarah either. And then the Deep Mind guys are from they're based in London as well, so it would have been great to. Hopefully, we can meet them one day.
Yeah, I think that they aren't English, are they?
They're a global team, I think, but they are part of Abacus, so they are. Was it Alphabet? Sorry, excuse me. Which is, I'm thinking of the club outside of Kettering.
Yeah, the famous club for
people. The land mood, excuse me.
Yeah, yeah. Abacus is the famous Kettering club that TSI boys like to go sometimes. After one night of LAN, they go to Abacus party, and then come back the next day and then win the tournament like a risky.
Yeah, absolutely smashed out the face.
Yeah.
He's lost a few recently, particularly towards the end of last year and that. But at his peak, and I'm talking, so kind of November time last year, Cyril was an absolute monster. He was unstoppable. He'd won all the circuits. He'd won BlizzCon. He'd won GSL versus the world, and that would have been if the AI had faced him and beaten him then, like. I would probably just throw my computer in the bin because I'm too afraid of computers at that point. Do you know what I mean?
Look at it as every action we do here, it can be pretty much summarized as like, I don't know, you could do it through like a, excuse me one second, through like a tree diagram. Like there is a set of decisions that you make after each one, and it doesn't matter how good your mechanics are, how good you can, build marines or whatever. If you make the wrong decisions, you're still going to lose. And if that AI knows exactly what's going to happen through experience, because it's played those millions of games, it's always going to win. It's always going to do really well. But where it does fall short is when the computer does something that's when a human does something illogical, in sort of sense.
Yeah.
If you got what I mean, it's like. It's so stupid it works, sort of mentality.
Yeah, so I mean,
the computer never would have done.
I'm just going to read. I've been concentrating on the game a little bit and have ignored chat recently, but yeah, apparently Cyril was defeated at BlizzCon by the AI. DeepMind are now working on a generalized framework to beat all games. It's called Open Spiel, I think. But yeah, it's. That's their new project. This is from StarCraft II AI, so I guess actually an appropriate person who knows a little bit about it. Let's go Wok from Mars Bar. I think still shouting for support.
Thank you, Mars Bar, mate.
What's happened now? We know what happens. Savage. Yeah. Thanks guys for being in the chat anyway. And sorry that you can't post links. It's a mod privilege only. So if you do want to post anything, you just have to whisper it to me at British Esports first, and then I have to check it before it goes live. And I can post in the chat for you if I think it should be there. So yeah, if you do have any questions, guys, for the chaps on the stream, just let me know and I'll ask them. You can ask anything you like. It's an AMA right now. Go Ryan, my boy. That is from Righteous 4.
Oh, Cal.
Yeah.
Cal is not even cheering on his own teammates. What?
Yeah, because I was his Padawan, that's why.
Oh.
He also says, ask Ryan, did he ever get his shirts, please?
Who's this from?
This is from Righteous 4.
Did I get my shirts?
Did he ever get his shirt? I'm assuming he means did you ever get your shirt?
I don't know what he's on about.
Maybe he sent you a shirt. I don't know. Check your post, mate.
Shirt is a code word for something.
I'm not sure what he means. I don't got any more context for that, Cal.
Old cool in show reference. Apparently you've forgotten. So.
Old what reference, sorry?
Oh, call in show.
Call in show reference. Oh, is that an old, something like a Chanman reference? Chanman V? That's a pretty sure reference. I don't think many people get that. Alright, hold on. There's a big attack coming up.
That's alright, don't you worry about it. There is a big attack coming up. It looks quite tasty.
Okay. Oh god. Oh my god, that drone is blocking.
Nicely defended.
Oh, thank you.
I want to say something, but I can't.
Okay. That was one scary push, like.
I can't say it. No spoilers.
Oh, I think I know what you mean.
Yep. Yeah, thank you very much. Phew.
Idling on the job, you know.
Missed that mineral patch.
Yeah. Oops.
Right. Sorry. Yeah. That was somewhat distracting. So
Right.
let's go back to I don't know. Who's your favourite player? Full stop.
Full stop.
Yeah. Actually, let's not say full stop. Let's say who's your favourite player in the last decade? Because I think probably a few people who've been following the scene have been around for the last decade or so. So I don't want to go past like 2010.
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, mine probably be Young. I think he was such a revolutionary player in pretty much everything he did. It was he was the first person to win a GSL, so like that big Korean title, without the team, without the entire support of like the Korean sort of structure behind him. He did it all alone, and I think that was pretty incredible and somewhat inspiring. I think a lot of players really haven't done since. Like it's become more mainstream that that Koreans do it without a team, but
I think Björn had his fair share of glory. Like he was definitely top tier Terran for a significant amount of time, and he beat out the other huge Terrans in Korea. He was making innovation look like a baby. So and like if you can pull that off, that's definitely something that will terrify people in the long run. I mean, he was a really good player. He's definitely inspired a lot of Terrans, with some really unique builds and things like that. I think
my bio is still Beyond Fanboy, something like that.
Yeah. What, you mean on Twitter?
On Twitter, yes, excuse me.
Yeah, I could check it, but I think that's probably right. Yeah, he was cool, man. And he had a good personality as well. Like, when they did that kind of post-game stuff, and he's not like, oh, I'm so good, I beat everyone. He was like just chill and kind of recognised that it's a game and he can lose, and even though he was on form, there were other people out there who could also be on form and take him down. I want to talk about the kind of youngsters in the scene. So I mean, I actually first of all I want to hear who Wok's favourite player is.
I don't know if I have a current one right now. It's a bit hard. It's like Marina's pretty sick. Daryl's obviously sick as usual. But I think one that always comes up to mind for me is Jaedong.
Jaedong,
yeah. Absolute legend and brutal. And
yeah, I mean, are we talking 2010? Are we talking last decade?
Yeah, we're talking about his StarCraft II run. Like his BlizzCon run when he came second place, that would have been like a storyline to remember if he actually won that BlizzCon. Everyone else was cheering for him, and then we had a SOS, the party pooper, raiding on his parade. That was like one of the most devastating losses for Jaedong, I think. Yeah, really. I mean, he won like a first place for like a tier 2 tournament, but it wasn't exactly what you wanted. Yeah, he's also recently gone to military service as well. He's what, 29, 30?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's sad to see him not be able to stream Brood War that he usually does. But yeah, was a legend in my heart. He's a legend in general.
Yeah, he definitely was. You know, he showed a lot of Zergs, and well, he showed a lot of fear. You know, he put a lot of fear in people, and when he played, it was obvious he was definitely a pro you should be scared of. Yeah, there's some amazing games out there. If you ever look up his plays, you know, you'll be able to watch some of the most iconic games of history. I definitely agree with, you know, Rain is so sick at the moment. You know, and that kind of flows quite nicely into what I was talking about, like the youngsters of the scene. You know, because StarCraft is so old now. You know, and it's really nice to see people who are like 15, 16 coming into the scene still. You know, and actually, there is like a youth to this group, and it's not just people who have been playing it for 15 years, which is kind of why I was getting at earlier on in the interview about the kind of stalemate in the scene, and it's just kind of falling off where perhaps it shouldn't be. But I don't think it is, because of this new growth. You know, with people like Raynor and Clem, you know, and other youngsters who are coming into the scene at 15, 16 and taking on the pros who've been playing for as many years as they've been alive, you know, and winning. This is definitely something that's kind of exciting me, you know, because it shows that the scene can still survive and it could thrive back to its glory days, as it were. I'm not saying we're out of glory days, it's definitely kind of recovering quite heavily, but we have taken, I say we, like I am the scene.
Some sort of renaissance right now.
Say again, Volt?
I'd say we're definitely in some kind of renaissance right now.
Yeah, with free to play, and then the pandemic as well sort of helped with numbers in general in terms of esports. We've seen like what, I think it's like 2015, 2014 peak in terms of games played numbers right now.
Yeah.
And I remember Total Biscuit probably in 2017, 2016 said that I think it was like 1.2 million played like co-op or something like that, or that it was a uniques in general, something like that. It's quite a lot for an RTS game, you know. It's not a genre that really sells big numbers anymore. Yeah, you got battle royales. It's a new era we're in with battle royales. FPS has always been as strong as usual as well.
Good lord, this is a mad fight.
Yep. My days, my drones. Oh my god. Damage.
Yeah, it's been, wow, that was pretty intense. Yeah, making it free to play was definitely like a really smart move. You know, they didn't need any revenue. They don't need any money anymore. You know, StarCraft has done its job, and they really, what they did need to do is bring back the skins, bring back the war chest, bring back in-game purchases, which they've done a great job of. They do look fantastic. I really do like them. But what they need to do is bring players to the game. You know, and that making it free to play was a smart move. So where are we?
We're Mike Morheim for that, because
say again, sorry.
You can thank Mike Morheim for making it free to play. Like, he loves StarCraft. It was always getting like main stage priority in BlizzCons. Yeah, it's a shame to see him go and leave Blizzard, but you know, can't always be there forever.
Nope, that's true. It's true. All good things have to come to an end. You know?
Exactly. And Mike Morheim was, I think, better than a good thing. If you have a look at like pictures of Mike Morheim, he's with StarCraft plays, he's always there, like they're just hugging him because they have that much respect for the guy.
Yeah.
He is an unparalleled figure, I think, in the scene, and always will be.
I feel like this is the first 5 minutes of a game, but we're actually experiencing it in the 18th minute of the game.
Yep.
I mean, this is just late game for you, really. This is late game TVC, sorry, excuse me.
So just checking on the chat because I haven't looked for ages. Welcome RD Magic, welcome Savage. Ask Wok if he thinks run-bys are effective.
Yes, they are.
There's something there.
Oh
I
dear.
don't think my run mads have been.
Hello guys, I'm late to the party, I know. Good to see some StarCraft getting some love. Yep, that's definitely true. That's Dom in the chat there, by the way, Wok, so if you want to say hello to him there. He's now here.
Dom lad, you legend.
I feel bad that I don't know who this Dom is now.
He's also working at the British Esports Association. I guess Elliot can talk about him.
Yeah, so Dom is our head of content here at the British Esports Association. He's been here since the very start. Seen it grow from the tiny, idea to the kind of powerhouse we are today, with a bigger team and stronger force, and putting out some great content and some great shows like this. So he's the kind of scene behind it all. Oh wow, here we go.
Oh no!
Here we go.
This is what you're looking for. It wouldn't be a show match if this didn't happen.
Boom.
Okay, that's all right. Okay.
Let's see who else is in the chat here. I'm here to support Wok and Voltacus. Love them, guys. Nice one. Thank you, Red Dane. Whose voices am I hearing? Besides this, you're hearing my voice. My voice is Elliot. I am Schools and Colleges Liaison Officer for British Esports, and I also do the Twitch streams. Well, not all of them. I split it with Dom. Dom does a few here and there. But
Darren's a very good one.
Oh, wow. And that's a GG.
Yes,
And a 2-0.
It was a pretty tough game, like, oh my days.
Yeah. I prepared for this. I prepared for this hard.
Wow, guys. Well, congratulations. Let me just bring you guys back to the cameras. All right. Well played. That was an insane game. It's so frustrating. I've never done a cast. Well, I've never casted, right? But I've never watched a game where I can't talk about what's happening in it. It's really frustrating. But yeah, no, that was a sick game. Well played, both of you. Ryan, I think you probably could have taken that at like 2 or 3 points in that game. If I'm honest with you, you just didn't capitalize on it. But I think that have to go watch that replay definitely.
All right, there's always a next time.
Yeah. But well played, Voltacus, man. 2-0. That was very strong. Good
that was a very fun game. So I'm glad we got to share that on air.
Yeah. Razor could learn a thing from you. Volt Ultras are so good. Smiley face.
Yeah, Razor played it good. Yeah.
If any of you guys in the chat want to ask any questions, we're going to be wrapping up very shortly. So now's your chance to get it in. But yeah, can you ask Wok to tell us about his role on ePunks? Yeah, I actually missed that earlier on. So that's from Phoenix SCT. So if you could just fill us in a little bit about what you do with ePunks.
Yeah, so as a StarCraft II manager at ePunks, my role is more so really like a player manager in terms of scheduling clan wars for the team, scheduling internal practice for everyone, just checking up with how our players are doing. So I don't really deal with the business side of ePunks.
Okay. Yeah, that's cool.
I also have to say that we're not a UK team. We did have Razorblader, the second best UK player. He left last year. He was a really good guy. Shame that he moved on to James's team, Voltacus, Red Dragons, Team Red Dragons. But yes, we have 2 Danish players and 2 French players. The Danish players are Lurkanine, Papi Joe, and another Danish player, Space Marine. Then the 2 French players, Rom and Garatos, very strong guys. They're about top 60 GM, top 50.
Wow, nice.
They saw the roster. ePunks is very satisfying because although I can't play competitive as much, I can still have that competitive side with my boys over at ePunks, helping them with clan wars, any tournaments that they're going to play in.
Awesome. Well, thanks very much. I've got a few more people. There's a question here from Gamer Richie. Will there be any British esports events? If so, what are your next? Oh, I guess that's a question for me. Do you mean around StarCraft, Gamer Richie? I mean, we've got loads of events going on all the time. We're obviously running our championships, which you can get involved in if you're part of a school or college, and we focus on grassroots anywhere. For any esport, you can ask us for advice. You can talk to us for just what should your son or daughter do if they want to get involved. We've got loads going on all the time. Please do check out our website to find out more. Thank you for the follow, FaZe. GG. Can you ask Volt why he's happy winning with the best race?
I saw that one. I about cracked up. I mean, I have a very good team supporting me. It's helped me really improve my game, and that's pushed me to take the 2-0 versus Wok, who's a very formidable opponent. I did lose a game to Wok last time, and I'm glad I've cleaned that up. Made it a 2-0 this time around.
Wok, did you have any strategies in mind for this game, or did you? Because Volt's already admitted that he's been preparing. Like, did you go away and do any homework?
Somewhat. I've had some tips from a few people, so I wasn't exactly prepared. The only StarCraft I really played properly was last night, but no excuses. Yeah, the results are what they are, So next time, come at him.
Yeah, the results do show they do. Well, I mean, thank you ever so much, guys, for joining me today and for being part of our team as well. Obviously, Wok is our game advisor for StarCraft II, and thank you, obviously, Voltacus, for coming on the show as well and sharing us with your expertise and telling us about what you guys do together. So that's fantastic, and I've really enjoyed learning a little bit, talking with you about the scene, and I think everybody in the chat here has enjoyed the show today as well. So once again, massive thank you to you both, and I think we'll be calling it there. So yeah, thank you ever so much, everybody, and it was an absolute pleasure. My name's Elliot, and I'm from the British Esports Association. If you do have any questions, go check out the website, or just give us an email, or ask me in Twitch chat next time we're on. We'll be back on Wednesday, where we'll be having a video editing masterclass with our good friend Spyron, who's always around. He's a great guy. So yeah, with that, I'll be signing off. Thank you, Ryan Wok-Lu, and thank you, James Voltacus Flint. It has been an absolute pleasure, and I'll see you next time.
Thank you.
Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.